Hi, I'm Sherry Simmons, and this is my mom.
Jan Simmons.
We recently had some questions come in about imposter syndrome. Let me read you the definition of imposter syndrome. It refers to an internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. Imposter syndrome can be based on someone's personality traits. For example, perfectionists often struggle with imposter syndrome. Sometimes this comes from family culture or family background. If you were raised in an environment where a high value was put on achievement.
Or perhaps you came from a family where they didn't think you could achieve anything.
Exactly. I mean, either one of those can sort of perpetuate this idea of I'm an imposter. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not good enough to be standing in front of a bunch of people talking or giving this presentation at work or whatever the thought may be. I teach at several different universities, and I see this a lot with my students, especially the ones who are about to graduate or just graduated. They'll often call me and say, "I don't feel like I have the knowledge to be able to help people." These are students who are learning how to be therapists and social workers and things like that. So I have to remind them that they are equipped with the knowledge and the tools. And what I often get as a response is, I still don't feel like I know enough to help people. And we have to talk through, how do you start to believe in yourself again?
Right. When we wrote our book, you were so quick to say, "Mom, let's write a book. We're going." And I thought, I have nothing to say to anyone. But I found out through writing the book that I do have a lot that can be said. We have people have reached out to us to speak, and I immediately go to, I don't have anything to say of value. I don't have anything that they don't already know, or that, who am I to think that I can offer anything to them of value?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. We both experienced this recently when we did a TED Talk. Here we've been speaking for the last few years, going in up in front of stages, on stages, in front of people, hundreds of people, and can pull that off and do that. But there was something so intimidating about this TED Talk.
It
I
was.
really caught myself in this negative narrative about, what are you doing being on a TED Talk stage? Who do you think you are? You have nothing of value to say.
Nothing to contribute, you
Absolutely. And
know?
the voices started, the tapes started playing. You know the tapes. We've all got them. And I really had to manage. We had to learn how to manage our minds with that experience and manage our self talk.
That voice, that small little voice on your shoulder was so loud. It was louder than anything I could counter, you know,
Yeah.
for a moment,
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the question becomes, how do you, what I call mind the mind? How do you manage that self talk? How do you um, untwist the beliefs?
Absolutely. Um, there are people out there that are so accomplished and they're so successful. And I wonder, what are the steps that we can do to, because they've got the voices too, those high achievers, those highly accomplished people, they have those same voices. What can we do to minimize that?
Yeah. Uh, Here's a thought. What we know about the brain is that, our limbic system, our survival brain, the part of our brain that's towards the back of our head, believes when we're young everything that it's told. And so if we are told, either through the parenting that we received or the community we grew up in, gosh, if we're told by the billboards that we see on the way to school every morning, that we have to be a certain way, and we're not able to be that way.
The bullies at school.
The bullies at school, the gym teacher, the coach that says you're not athletic, the math teacher that says you're not smart, you're not gonna, turn out to be anybody successful. Those lodge in the limbic system and the survival brain, as beliefs, and they get stuck back there, and they chatter at us throughout our adult lives, until we take a good, hard, intentional look at what our beliefs are, and ask ourselves whether they're serving us or not, whether they're positive beliefs or based on falsehood and untruth. When we discover that those beliefs are not based in truth, then we have to start the exercises, the intentional exercises, to untwist those beliefs and replace them with positive ones. Now, how do you do that? That's tough. It takes work. Our beliefs are literally, neural pathways in the brain, and it requires the brain developing a new neural pathway, a new way of believing, and therefore a new way of acting. One of the ways that can be done is through journaling. I start my morning, especially if I have a talk or some sort of presentation that I am supposed to be doing. I will start the morning with just writing over and over a mantra. That helps me remember, I do have things of value to say. I do have knowledge that I can impart to other people. I am articulate. I can communicate. And whether I believe that or not, I just write it. I want to see it. I want to feel it, so that I can start to undo that belief a little bit.
It kind of shifts the mindset. Whether you, like you were just saying, whether you believe it or not, it starts to make a shift that you might not even be aware of, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I during my therapy, when I was about that tall, in my feeling of myself, I wrote on sticky notes and stuck them all over my mirror. Did I believe those? Nope, I didn't. But I was doing so, like the word you used, intentional. I was intentional about looking at them, and it began to be a little bit bigger than that little voice
Yeah.
of negativity.
Yeah. I mean, when there's sticky notes up on your bathroom mirror, you probably see them for the first couple of days.
Right.
But then they sort of fade into the background like everything else in your bathroom, right? But your subconscious mind is still taking that in. And again, it's reshaping your brain, so to speak, and incorporating a new belief, a new context for how things can look. One of the things that I encourage people who really struggle with imposter syndrome is to surround themselves by positive people.
Yes.
Cheerleaders, people who pump them up, people who give them positives, people who remind them of their worth and their value and their intelligence. We tend to gravitate towards people that validate our beliefs, whether those are good or bad. So that's another thing that I would suggest.
Absolutely.
It's a tough one. And here's another one, actually. I just thought of it when I said the word and. Imposter syndrome can cause us to think in black or white terms sometimes, that we're all bad, or, nothing that we have to say is of value. I mean, we can start to really see ourselves in these generalities and polarized extremes. The word "and" can take somebody to the gray. So even if you have to start with, I don't feel like I have anything of value to say, and I know that I have some knowledge in this area, I'm going to give it a shot.
Oh, I
Okay,
like
that
that.
takes a person out of the black and white and into the gray, and
I like
that's a
that.
place to start.
And we can all do that. We, and, you know,
Yeah,
it's kind of like putting the but in
right.
in our conversations of conflict.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
so we
exactly.
yeah, we can do that.
I hope that helps. I hope it gives a couple tools in how to tackle and defeat imposter syndrome. As always, if you have questions or a topic that you want us to tackle, find us on thetraumaspeakers.com.
And we want to give a shout out to Mental Health News Radio Network. And we want you to remember, regardless of the path you're on, you always have the choice to decide which way.